Today we're tackling one of the most polarizing subjects of our time, global warming. Specifically, we're going to explore the book Climate of Extremes: Global Warming Science They Don't Want You to Know by Patrick J. Michaels. This book challenges the mainstream narrative and offers a perspective that's both intriguing and, at times, controversial. So, buckle up as we explore the climate of extremes. Let's start with the foreword, which sets the tone for the entire book. Michaels argues that the global warming debate has become a climate of extremes, where truth and fact often take a backseat to sensationalism and fear-mongering. He points out that outrageous exaggerations go unchallenged, unscientific speculation is accepted without question, and those who dare to question the narrative risk losing their jobs. It's a stark observation that immediately grabs your attention. Michaels uses a 2007 interview with former Vice President Al Gore on Larry King Live to illustrate his point. Gore claimed that a 1-meter rise in sea level could displace tens of millions of climate refugees. But here's the kicker. The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, estimated in 2007 that sea levels would rise between 0.8 and 1.7 inches over the next 10 years. That's a far cry from Gore's prediction. Michaels argues that Gore's claims about Greenland and West Antarctica breaking up and causing catastrophic sea level rise are not supported by scientific evidence. Michaels delves into the science of ice melt and sea level rise, highlighting the work of NASA scientist Scott Leuthke, who found that Greenland is losing ice at a rate of 25 cubic miles per year. While that sounds alarming, Michaels points out that Greenland has a total of 685,000 cubic miles of ice, meaning the loss rate is a mere 0.4% per century. He argues that Gore's claims about Greenland's ice breaking up in 10 years are nothing more than wild fantasy. But Michaels doesn't stop there. He criticizes the IPCC's computer models, which project that it would take nearly 1,000 years for Greenland to lose half its ice. He questions the assumptions behind these models, such as the idea that carbon dioxide concentrations will quadruple from pre-industrial levels and stay there for a millennium. Michaels argues that this is an unrealistic scenario, and that the models are overly pessimistic. Michaels also takes aim at the notion that droughts are becoming more frequent and severe due to global warming. He cites data showing that the area of the United States experiencing drought has not increased significantly in recent decades. In fact, he argues that the American farmer is an adaptable creature, changing agricultural practices and crops to cope with changing conditions. He points out that many of our fresh vegetables come from California, a natural desert, which is a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. But perhaps the most controversial part of the book is Michaels's critique of the scientific community. He accuses climate scientists of hyping the lurid aspects of climate change at the expense of the more mundane. He cites examples of scientists who have been criticized for downplaying the risks of global warming, while those who make extreme claims are often celebrated. Michaels argues that this creates a climate of fear and hysteria, where the truth is often lost in the noise. Michaels also discusses the concept of publication bias, where studies that show a strong link between human activity and climate change are more likely to be published than those that don't. He argues that this bias skews the scientific literature and creates a false impression of consensus. He cites studies that show the sun's influence on recent warming is significant, and that the climate models have overestimated the sensitivity of the climate to carbon dioxide. One of the most fascinating parts of the book is Michaels' exploration of the Atlantic multidecadal oscillation, or AMO, a natural climate cycle that has been linked to hurricane activity. He argues that the recent increase in hurricane activity in the Atlantic is more likely due to the warm phase of the AMO than to global warming, He cites the work of Christopher Landsea, a leading hurricane researcher who predicted the uptick in hurricane activity in 1995, long before it became a hot topic in the media. He also challenges the idea that hurricanes are becoming more intense due to global warming. He cites studies that show no significant trend in hurricane intensity when adjusted for improvements in observational technology. He argues that the focus on hurricanes as a symbol of climate change is misplaced, and that there are much better ways to deal with the threat of hurricanes than with energy policies. In the end, Michael's message is clear. The climate of extremes is not just a description of the weather, but also of the debate surrounding global warming. He calls for a more balanced and rational approach to the issue, one that acknowledges the uncertainties and complexities of the science. He argues that we should focus on adaptation and technological innovation, rather than on costly and ineffective policies that may do more harm than good. So, what do you think? Is Michael's perspective a breath of fresh air, or a dangerous distraction? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to BrightLearn for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep seeking the truth. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Visit brightlearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.